I am really pissed off at this. I've always dealt with topics as lighthearted as I can because ultimately I want to brighten your day. I want you all to laugh, even if my jokes are terrible and I can't make any decent ones without ripping off my favorite internet comedians. But there's really nothing laugh about this. This is what happens if a team jeopardized their entire project and innocent people who didn't do anything are caught in a crossfire. Let me tell you what I've been watching for the past couple of days. I was watching clips of Kitchen Nightmares on YouTube. You know that show where Gordon Ramsay visits the absolute worst source of restaurant where he tries to do a makeover and only some of the restaurants stay open to this day? You can have a discussion whether or not the show is real, but one thing I can know for sure is that I learned quite a lot of things. The first one is to keep my refrigerator clean, which is quite easy enough considering that I live alone and I barely have anything to store in there. And the second one, which is more relevant for this video, is that the screw-ups of one part of the team is a screw-up for everybody. A restaurant is a teamwork. If it fails because one person cocks it up, everyone who worked in there suffers the consequences. The employees failed, the managers failed, the chefs failed, the owners fails, the entire restaurant fails. There are times where I'm watching those clips, seeing how the restaurant owners or the chefs or whoever the asshole of the episode was, deflecting criticisms after criticisms. It reminds me so much of the sorts of people that I'm dealing with in my videos. One of them is perhaps the exact same person being cloned a million times.
We have to clone us.
Clone us.
Is that possible?
It is, some places, I've heard.
Right.
Jesus Christ, if I had known that Amy would be cloned to live as a bunch of whiny social justice warriors, I would have spawned Yarlat Hotep and get it over with. The point is, when you're on a team, when you're on a group pursuing a specific goal, every member of that team will be crucial. And if one of them screws up, everyone pays the price, including those who worked hard and didn't deserve the backlash. Almost every entertainment media that you consume right now are made by a team. They're made by a group of people who work together to make your entertainment possible. If they screwed it up, the entire team had to pay for the consequences, including those who worked hard and doing their best with what they're given. Sadly, when something bad happens in their team that causes significant backlash, nobody seems to take any responsibility, and thus the career and the public image of these actors and actresses are ruined. I've talked about Kelly Marie Tran before in my last video, the Star Wars actress who played Rose Tico in The Last Jedi, and how she quits her Instagram account due to harassment from the fans, or at least according to the media. I said in my last video that it's not just the fault of the rabid fans, it's also the fault of Star Wars The Last Jedi for not giving her a good character and starring in a terrible film that is incredibly divisive to Star Wars fans to say the least. Kelly isn't just the only person who received backlash. The star of the new Titan show, Anna Diop, also received backlash to the point where she quits her social media as well. The media narrative is once again a bunch of Titans fans harassing her in how she looks, which is unbelievably ugly even for superhero standards. It deviates completely to the idea of Starfire being a beautiful alien from Tamaran, one of the sexiest, if not the sexiest woman in the DC universe, but we'll get to the comparisons later. I want to illustrate a couple of things to you all. First off, fans of huge franchises like Star Wars and Teen Titans are huge. There are millions and millions of them around the world. Your job is to make entertainment that pleases them. You please them, you get money, and you will invite more and more new fans to the mix. The moment you make something that ruins their favorite shows, they're going to be angry. They're going to be mad. And unfortunately, their anger is something that we cannot control. We can minimize them by actually making good stuff that pleases them, but we can't stop all of them. There are millions and millions of people who are fans of big franchises. A lot of these people grow up, learn, and appreciate the lore of their favorite franchises. When you decided to disrespect the franchises that they love by making stories that ruins their favorite characters, you are going to be in a big trouble. The bigger the franchise, the more the fans. The more the fans, the bigger the backlash. The bigger the backlash, the more people who are not responsible for any of the mess that you created got harassed and their careers and reputation ruined. For the record, I'm not a Star Wars fan, and even I can see how The Last Jedi is a terrible, disorganized mess of a film that also ruins established canon and completely disrespects the characters of the series. However, I am a Teen Titans fan, and I admit I am a little excited that the old Teen Titans are possibly going to return, but there's no confirmation yet, so I want to disclose that before we go on any further, and Anna Diop's Starfire does not look like Starfire. This is not a matter of skin color. There are black people who cosplayed as Starfire that actually looks like Starfire. I don't even recognize this character until someone pointed out to me that this is supposed to be Starfire. Now imagine yourself a fan of Teen Titans and witnessing how they absolutely butchered the character's design. Apparently they are aiming for the Starfire classic design from the new Teen Titans from the 80s. That is downright ambitious. Why not go for her simpler, modern versions? And even in her classic design, you are still beat by cosplayers. Anna Diop's Starfire design is objectively terrible. It's garbage. Now, do all of these criticisms justify comic fans to harass the actress out of her Instagram account? Absolutely not. Anna Diop is not to blame to this entire thing. The only person to blame to this entire thing is whoever thinks that her design looks presentable to the public. Actually, let's extend that to the entire Titans trailer. I mean, good God, what an awful trailer that was. These toxic, rabid fans are never gonna stop, especially when you ruin their favorite franchises. They don't understand that doing all of this is counterproductive. Guys, this will only make you and the rest of the fans look terrible at the face of the media and the face of pretty much anyone else. Although I have to admit the mere fact that we are breathing is good enough to get ourselves a smear piece. But regardless, you're not making things better by going after the people who are not responsible for this entire mess. Like I said previously, Titans is the work of a team, just like the Titans themselves. Clearly, this team is horrendously misinformed of what the Titans look like. Titans, the show, is the dish, and the actors and actresses are merely the servers serving them. They're the ones who serve the story to you. They're the bridge connecting you, the viewers, and the rest of the team who are producing this. And like any restaurant, the waiters and waitresses are not to blame on the horrendous cooking of the chefs. The moment the producers of this show screws up, the entire show is in jeopardy. The actors and actresses can only present to you with what they're given. They're given a garbage script and being told to dress up in such god-awful designs. I hope these actors and actresses are well paid because they don't deserve this torture. They don't deserve being on the receiving end of the backlash when all they do is simply following the orders and presenting to you the story. A god-awful and ugly looking story, but a story that they have to present because they won't get paid otherwise. I feel sorry for both Kelly and Anna for getting through all of this mess. These two actresses did not deserve the harassment that they got. That is assuming that the harassment is real. I have said this in my last video, but I need to say this again. People should absolutely recognize that the blame for this has never been entirely on the rabid toxic fans. The rabid toxic fans are only half to blame. The other half goes to whoever is responsible for that horrendous outfit. Right now, Anna Diop is facing the consequences of being harassed by rabid toxic fans that was triggered by her god-awful Starfire design. For the love of God, anyone who is working on this industry need to recognize that they're not the only people who need to save their public image. These actors and actresses are risking their lives, their public image, and their reputation to star on your show. You better be damn sure that these actors and actresses shine in their roles. Why is nobody on the team recognizes the responsibility that they have with the public image of the actors who play these roles? You people are presented with the opportunity to make these people look good at the face of the public. You have the opportunity to make these stars shine in their roles, and yet you cocked it up. You cocked it up by simply giving them a god-awful design or a terribly written character. These backlashes don't just happen out of nowhere, guys. These people getting angry don't just came out of a whim. These toxic Star Wars fans don't just decide that harassing Kelly is a good idea to do. The toxic Titans fans don't just decide that harassing Anna is a good idea to do. They don't just make their decisions out of a whim. They're making their decisions based on the things that they see on their screen. And if the things that they see on the screen are disgraceful, even to the non-toxic fans, you have a problem. Again, these rabid fans cannot be stopped. They should know better. They should realize the faults of their methods. But like I said, they're only half to blame to the story. The other half goes to the people who are responsible for this god-awful design. And by the way, nobody in the media dares to call this one out. Nobody in the media wants to go into the Titan show and tell them, wow, guys, these designs are terrible. They're going to misrepresent the story as people being racist towards her or something along those lines. And there's a reason for that. It's easier to blame the first half of the chaotic mess. It's easier to misrepresent them, call them racist, and not take any responsibility. It's to the point where a black cosplayer who cosplayed as Starfire, who posted her cosplay right after the behind the scenes photos are leaked, are being accused of racism. We can acknowledge and realize the faults of the first half, but if none of you recognize your part of the blame, I can assure you that this will happen again. This will happen again to other actors or actresses, possibly in a much larger and worse scale. And to be honest with you, I don't want my predictions to be true. I have a really bad rep with my fans predicting bad things to be true, but you don't really need to be a fortune teller to realize all of these patterns. I don't want something like this to happen again. So how about we both look at ourselves in the mirror, take responsibilities of our actions, and understand the consequences of every decision that we make. To all the toxic fans who harass the actors and actresses, these people are merely serving the stories being cooked by the absolute worst of chefs. They haven't done anything wrong, and you should all leave them alone. Please, for the love of God, don't make yourselves look stupid and harass these actresses. Your precious time should be wasted to something more productive, like fapping to hentais. And to all of the chefs out there who are cooking the latest entertainment blockbuster, the public image of your servers and anyone who worked on your team are in your hands. When you screw this up, you're not the only one who will pay for it. They will also pay for it. And all of this is assuming that the harassment is actually happening. I personally think that the people on the show and the media are just deliberately pissing people off just so that they can get attention and get people to click on the show. Which in that case, you have made your first mistake by putting this on a brand new subscription network that 0 people use. But even if it was on Netflix, ladies and gentlemen, I will tell all of you to don't watch this show. I mean, I don't have to tell you. You see how freaking garbage it is, but seriously, don't. Do yourselves a favor and don't see Titans. I will see it, so you don't have to.